Got a haircut this week, mainly just because I felt like it, and also as well, like, yeah, I hate it when I have long hair. Don't you just hate that? Like when you are destined to have ridiculously long anime and manga hair, but you actually hate it, you just want to get rid of it. I don't know, but anyway, there's something else I need to say. Like, we are so very close. So very close to reaching that 100 chapter mark of a series that of it. Because I tried to do this with Promise Neverland, tried to do this with Doctor Stone, so third time's lucky. Like, I am 100% certain, like, unless the series unless the author decides, you know what, I'm just gonna end it right here just to spite Luke, which by the way, that would be kind of hilarious, because it would be kind of the same thing that's going with Witch Watch right now, when I want Nemu to be in the house, even though the author is like, this guy wants Nemu to be in the house. Be in the house. Like, yeah, I'm not going to put her in the house, even though it's pretty obvious that she should be in the house, but I digress. Let's just dive right into this chapter, because Witch Watch, there is something I want to say about it before we get into it. Okay, when I say get into it, I mean Mission Yozakura family, not Witch Watch. But yeah, it is related to the colour page of Mission Yozakura this week, with it being chapter 211, titled Hifumi and Ni. Okay, that should have been the title of the last chapter, because this should have been a two-part, like Hifumi and Ni part 1, and this should have been Hifumi and Ni part 2. That should have been the titles of the chapters. By the way, the colour page has this kind of like winter theme going on, where we have Kiricho, Hifumi, and Futaba just basically like, hey, you want to go out to a winter festival? Yeah, sure, let's go out there. Which is very similar to something that's happening in Witch Watch right now, where they're trying to get to convince Nico that Santa exists. Which really, that chapter should have come out at Christmas. It's a Christmas chapter, and yet we're at the end of January. That chapter should have come out like a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, really nice colour page. So that's all I wanted to say on that front. So. And there's something else I want to talk about here. So we have these recaps happening, like in the last chapter. Hifumi Ni and mistook her for an ally. She asked for help carrying Kiricho potato as they were. Like, okay, is this really necessary at this point? Like, I don't know who's doing this, but can it stop, please? Little rant over there. Over. So we have pretty much starting off from the end of that shot, where we have Futaba getting angry, and Hifumi saying to Ni, like, "Come on, we need to bog her out of here," as nobody can stop Futaba when she's mad. And sure enough, we see Futaba using. Okay, I don't know what she's using in this scene. Is it kind of like, I guess it's a rock, like a rock of molten lava, that she's using to go lava surfing, basically. So she's like with her hands behind her back, being like that, like old wise mentor of like, yeah, I'm gonna go lava surfing after you two, because you two have been bad girls. Don't you know you're never supposed to go with strangers here, Fumi? Didn't Tayo Mutesme tell you that as rule 101? As we cut to Tayo Mutesme just basically being like having that moment in anime and manga, and potentially in real life as well, because you get these sneezes at random, and it's like, is someone talking about you? So I guess that's kind of like a thing with everyone. But we have them going to like American vacations, which, you know, they're gonna meet up at this point because they're in America. Hifumi, Kiricho, and Futaba in South America, so you know they're gonna meet up at some point in this little mini arc. Now, this might be the best chapter of the arc. I don't know about that with Pyrogens, but personally, I did enjoy this chapter a lot more than I've enjoyed some of the previous ones, and it will all come down to one thing that's going to happen in this chapter. So we see Futaba using her abilities to create four arms. Like, okay, Futaba, you're not Dr. Octopus, so don't try to create the four. Really, I shouldn't be saying forms at this point. At this point, yeah. I digress. We have we have her using the forearms to punch all three of them, and she said, "I have to re-educate you from square one myself." Oh no, nobody wants to be re-educated by Futaba, like, because you know that Futaba would be like one of those really strict generals, being like, "Okay, get your backs into it, get your backs into it. You're gonna get smacked if you don't do what I say 100%. So yeah, at this point, Nii is like, okay, there is no way in hell I can outrun Futaba Yozakura. Like, she's go rank spy, she's the second strongest out of the Yozakura family. I have to do something if I'm gonna make it out of here alive. So we see her grabbing onto Hifumi as what looks like a visage of a cat, just like, so it's like the tail that she has on so the tail that she has on her just starts like really charging up as this visage of a cat's mouth just appears behind her, as we see her eyes glowing with the blooming symbol. So pretty much confirming right there that all of Asa's children have bloomings, and we'll find out why later on in the chapter. But I did bring this up onto Discord, on the Mission Yozakura Discord, with it being like, with this ability now, and even Pyjam said like, yeah, that's kind of a good question here. Does this mean that Asa can distribute bloomings out to anyone that he wishes now, or at the very least give artificial bloomings in the same way that Tampopo got pretty much artificial bloomings during the Tampopo saga? I feel like that's something that may actually happen. Like Ryu might actually get a blooming himself, not a blooming like this one, but like an artificial one, kind of similar to what I has. So something similar to that, or some of the enemies that the Yozakuras had to actually fight during the Tampopo saga. That's something I feel like Asa would be kind of psychotic enough to do. So anyway, he calls this power explosion. Okay. What is it with anime and just having the power of explosion? This is like the fourth character I know now that has that ability. The other three being Bakugo, Megami from Konosuba, and Louise from the Familiar of Zero, which, by the way, now that has to be a four-way death battle between Nii, Megami, Louise, and Bakugo, which I feel like Bakugo would come out on top. I mean, Megami, with her explosion, can only do it one day. Louise, she needs to charge it up a bit. Bakugo will just be like, I'm just going to explode everything around me. Bakugo would be kind of psychotic to that. So yeah. So yeah, that's the ability of Nii, explosion, and obviously we've got three other abilities to go. One of them being Yo's ability, and the two other of Asa's children. And does this mean that they will have true spring blooming themselves as well? Because I feel like Asa could hyper rapidly accelerate the growth so that they do get the true spring blooming. That's kind of possible that might actually happen, but I did suspect this for quite some time, like since Asa is pretty much the creator of the Yozakura bloodline, it would make sense that he would be able to give people bloomings, but he does it in a roundabout way. It'll be explained as we go further on in the chapter, but yeah, suffice to say, Asa pretty much can make bloomings at this point. So yeah, we have explosion, cat punch as we just see all the punches just get exploded around them, and leaving Futaba. So we are leaving Futaba it just a bit amazed, just a bit like, oh my god, what actually happened? I got you. That wasn't an attack, it's a distraction to disguise which way you would run. So we see as well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 different I assume. Yeah, 6 different tunnels that came from the explosion. So Nia was just like, okay, I need to create the distraction. I'll use my explosion bit, and then we'll just escape through one of these tunnels that I created thanks to my explosion. As Futaba is just continuing to process what might actually be happening here. That Karicho put a protective thread barrier around here Fumi to protect her. But how long does that mean? But how long does that dog need to nap? I don't think he is napping. I think he's just being completely lazy. Just like, if I could pretend to be knocked out here, maybe Hirofumi will go easy on me and be more sympathetic to me, and then I can get the niece that I always wanted. Even though it's your fault in the first place, Karicha, that she is the way she is to you. We cut over to Hirofumi and Nia and Karicha as they're now in the central part of the lab itself, and Hirofumi is just seeing all these grotesque figurines, grotesque experiment figurines, like substances around her, and you can't really tell what she's actually thinking here. She's just like, she sees these grotesque images in front of her, and she's like, look at that over there. And Nia's just like, no, don't be looking at that. Like, she goes into like her older sibling mode of just being like, yeah, I need to protect the kids from these images because it's going to scar them for life. Even though Hirofumi could scar a fully grown adult if she really wanted to. Before we get her a flashback of Nee being like, hey, so what happened to those two? Now, we don't actually know what those two are. I guess they might be the other siblings that are not that, but no, that can't be it, because we have Nee later on in the chapter going thinking about them. Thinking about them. So what are these? Like, are they like experiment? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. What I'm talking about. Yeah, it'll get explained later on that they are experiment. Like, it's kind of like, how can I put it? Okay, it's kind of like Mayuri in Bleach when he was working on Nemu to get the perfect Nemu, and these are kind of like the failed Nemu projects that are just on a much more grotesque level here. I just see how Nee actually feels about this situation. She's just looking at this and probably thinking like, that could have been me. Maybe I shouldn't be taking orders from this guy, even though he created me essentially. But at the same time, yeah, these things are basically just disgusting, even for us. And Asa in the flashback explains like their degradation rate was too high. I gave them to Mozu as disposable specimens. So yeah, Asa doesn't give a shit about his kids at this point. Like, he's probably playing like, oh, I'm a happy-go-father to make them feel happy, to be like, oh, we're in a perfect paradise, this is a perfect family. But at the same time, he's just like, yeah, if they don't do what I want, I'm just going to dispose them out. And we know he can probably do that because of the fact that he was able to negate Karicho's blooming like that. And Karicho, most powerful blooming, most powerful character in the series, for us to do that, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that if he really wanted to, he could just be like, yeah, I can get rid of you like that. Which begs the question of like, what is his blooming? Because I am 110% that Asa has a blooming. If he's gonna have a blooming, it has to be the most insane OP. It has to be more OP than Void, and it's just like thinking like, what can be more OP than Void? Like, post your theories, or whoever watches this video, of what Asa's blooming might be, because I am 100% he does have one for himself. So then we have Hirofumi spotting something that's actually glowing, and it turns out that it's the heart of Yozakura, the ninth head that Asa stole when he was first introduced. So yeah, this was the item that Nee was coming to actually get. And this is where she decides to drop the charade, explain to Hirofumi like, this would have been your grandmother's heart, and I'm here to actually see it. And she goes on and says, the bodies of the Yozakura family heads hold great power. They run experiments on them for centuries, using them to give others powers. But Dr. Mosu's research finally found a way. Okay, so yeah. Asa pretty much, like, it's explained right here, concrete, that they've run experiments on them for centuries, using them to give others power. So it is very likely that Asa probably extracted bloomings from the Yozakura heads, the former Yozakura heads, and possibly siblings of those heads, and given them out to other people. Like, I am 100% certain that that is probably what is going on here, and why and oh my god, that just makes so much sense now. Why Asa is like, I want to harvest you. He wants to get, like, I am 100% certain that Asa's main plan is to get all the bloomings of all the Yozakura siblings and have them for himself to do whatever he wants. Like, possibly to make everyone to be his mindless puppets of just being like, this is my family, I can make people happy, I can be the perfect doctor, and if you don't like it, you can die. Like, I am 100% certain that this is what's going on here, and that's probably why he wants to dispose of Hifumi and Alpha, because he knows, like, these kids are going to be integral to take me down. So if I can get rid of them, I have more of an open opportunity now to steal those bloomings. Like, that's probably what's going on here. Maybe that's what his blooming is. He has the power to just be like, negate and steal. That's probably what it is here. Like, he can negate, but and he could probably steal bloomings. But then why wouldn't he steal the bloomings of the other Yozakuras? Oh no, wait, he did say he wanted them to be at a point where he could harvest them. So maybe it was just like biding his time, and maybe he wanted them to access True Spring blooming. So he'd be like, okay, they're at the perfect moment where I can harvest them. Grab all the True Spring bloomings and put them into other people for myself. I am 100% certain that is Asa's plan. He plans to steal the bloomings of all the Yozakura siblings. But yeah, people were saying like, no, that's not possible, that he can distribute blooming. So, but no, it says right here that they ran experiments on them for centuries, using them to give others powers. So yeah, Asa is very much giving out bloomings left, right, and centre, using the hearts of the other Yozakura heads. Like, that is something that I don't know why people don't pick up on that here. And Rosu's research finally found a way to use them to create life from nothing. So yeah, even though he used them to create life from nothing, it still doesn't change the fact that Asa probably was using left, right, and centre to give powers out to others that he stole from the other Yozakura heads and possibly their siblings. That's something I feel like is 100% confirmed in this chapter, or at very least 95% confirmed. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here, but I can't just shake this feeling that this all adds up for Asa's character. Like, why he didn't steal them, if he does have the power to steal bloomings, why he didn't steal them back when he had the chance with the other Yozakuras, because they didn't have the True Spring blooming. That just makes so much sense now. Oh my god, I can't shake the fact that that's probably what's going on here. So yeah, Nee goes on to explain, most of the time it fails, but every once in a while it works. Like with me, my name is Nee, I was birthed from a fragment of Ri's Yozakura. So yeah, this again, because she was birthed from a fragment of the heart of the ninth Yozakura, automatically blooming, and it does make sense for the others here. But also as well, it wouldn't surprise me, again, like I said, if that white thing that negated Creature's void, that was part of Asa's blooming. And again, I feel like it's going to be negate and steal, so it's kind of going to be like a combination of Blackbeard's Yami Yami no Mi from One Piece, where just by being in the presence of, because Blackbeard has to touch the person in order to negate their death root abilities, but I feel like just being in the presence of Asa pretty much negates the blooming, and so it's going to be a combination of that and all for one, or one for whichever. But you know what I'm talking about. The overarching antagonist of My Hero, like, can just steal the quirks. I feel like that it's going to be, Asa's blooming is going to be a combination of those two abilities, which would be insanely OP. So that power to like negate, steal, and transfer to other people. That's what I feel like Asa's ability is all about, which would be a scary ability. Like, if he got his hands on Void, think about that. If he got his hands on Void, or if he got his hands on hardening and Void together. Like that would be scary of itself. And it feels like she was created to serve as a tool to hunt the Yozakuras. I am the second of Asa's four children, like obviously children, because not actually born to Asa, created. Asa is a more psychotic version of Mayoi, if that was even possible at this point. And she says, "And I am your enemy as well." Even though from the looks of from the way Nia's being drawn here, it's like after getting to know you here for me, I kind of don't want to do this, but at the same time, I'm bound to Asa and bound to whatever he does, because I have to think about myself and my other siblings in this situation. So yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry I've had to trick you like this, but it's all, and I know I'm being selfish here, but at the same time, I've got to think about my family just as well. You've got to think about your family. So here, Fumi starts to think back and be like, oh yeah, this is what everyone was going on about. This guy being Asa and being a bad guy, and I learned there's a bad guy whose name means morning. That made me think there wasn't the story just wasn't just any story. And Hiyofumi just being like, just gives the look of just like, Asa. I'm just being like, yeah, this guy needs to go down. Like, Hiyofumi knows, like, this guy is a dick and he needs to be stopped. Ni explains that, oh, thanks to your mistake, I was able to collect this without any problems, and while I thank you, I am sorry that I've had to put you in this situation, because she starts thinking about, like, Asa saying, like, kill on sight, but now that, like I said, like, she's got to know Hiyofumi, and notice, like, yeah, she's just a child, just like, yo, you don't have to think about it to know that killing her is wrong. Like, I like that. Like, even though Asa created them, like, they still have their own conscience, and Nia's one, like, yeah, even though I'm working for this guy, I don't want to do this. And judging by what I'm seeing here, yeah, I want to get away from this guy as quickly as possible. But I know that if I don't get away, if I do this mission wrongly, I'm a tool and I can easily just be discarded through, just like my other four siblings. So I'm kind of in a complex situation of where, even though I am ordered to do this, I don't want to do this, so I'm like, I need to figure out a way to get around them. So the best way I can do this is I can complete my errand and escape without killing them, and just say, yeah, I almost ran into them, but I managed to get an escape without seeing them. That's the best compromise that Need can actually think of at this moment. And she says, like, if you don't want to die, then stay on my way. That's the best I can offer you at this moment, Hiyofumi. And Hiyofumi, surprisingly, like, to Nee's surprise, she's like, yeah, you can go. And Nee gives the look of like, okay, that's not what I was expecting to hear. Like, before, and she's like, no, go on, I'll make an excuse for Auntie. Say hi to your sister for me. And Nee just gives the like, what is this kid saying? Like, what is, like, she's probably thinking, like, what is this kid? Like, who is this kid? Like, I'm telling her all these things. I betrayed her. I am against her. I am her enemy. And she's like, yeah, you can go. Like, okay, that's something I wasn't expecting. Before we have Heal For Me explain, I told you about my brother. His name is Alfred. He's awesome. We tried growing flowers once, but they all died. He said it was because he used the wrong fertilizer, or that the crows came along and ruined it. He said all these nice things, even though they really died because I watered them too much. It's easy for me to tell when somebody's saying a nice line, so I don't mind. You better run quickly before Auntie Fruitspig gets here. So yeah, Hiyofumi was basically saying, like, look, I know you've been lying to me, but at the same time, I know it's been for my benefit here that you've been lying to me, and I am grateful for that. So you can go. You can go before my auntie gets here, because if she gets here, you are going to be in absolute crap. And this is where Nia is just like, like, she's giving the look of like, I don't want to say this, but at the same time I need to say it. I've just been like, it's not a lie here for me. I'm doing this all for myself, which she is. But like I said, at the same time, she can see, like, I am not a killer. I am not a straight up killer. And like I said, I do like that. Like, they do have a moral compass far beyond what Asa has. But before they can continue this conversation anymore, we have Futaba bursting in, just being like, yeah, I can't stop Auntie Futaba now that she's here. As Futaba says, finally, this looks like the center. It's times like this when my look always stinks. Okay, she would get on very well with Senku because, like, Futaba and Senku, who has the worst look out of those two characters? But yeah, Futaba says, "Okay, Hirofumi, playtime is over. Let's let that cat go and go home." But at the same time, she instantly recognizes that is the heart of my mother. You have got it. Is this what Asa wants? Yeah, and you could just see, like, you get the flashback of Futaba being with Ri, and she's just like, you've got the heart of my mother. You are dead. As we see her immediately just spring into action, she's just like, you see her just high up. You see her, okay, so Futaba's down, Ni and Hirofumi are down here. Futaba's up here. Futaba sees her and she's just like, right there in front of Ni, ready to charge up and attack. And it's like instantaneous because Ni is looking up here and then looking up here at Futaba frozen, and then Futaba is just probably in a split second just down in front of her, charging up an attack. That just gives an indication of how speedy Futaba is when she really wants to, because it's just like Ni is just like, and but before Futaba can continue her attack, we see Hirofumi actually being able to block it, which is confirmed in a minute to be her yo-yo. As Hirofumi is just saying to me, like, just go, I'll hold of my auntie, go out here. You've done so much for me, so I have to return the favor, even though it's going against my family here. As Futaba says, Hirofumi, I'm sure you have your own reasons, but I'll say this only once. Get out of my way. Before Hirofumi reminds Futaba, it's like, you said to us, no matter what path we choose, you'd always support us. What I want to do is save that cat lady, because I see a lot of myself in her, and that's the path I'm choosing here. As we see Hirofumi getting ready to pounce, so like Party said to me on Discord, this is probably the actual proper match that we're going to get between Futaba and Hirofumi, like what we were expecting when they were getting the stamps. I feel like the author was kind of saving that fight, because Futaba is one of the stronger ones. Like, it goes Creature and then Futaba. So yeah, I feel like that it just had to be all balls out fight, and he was probably thinking like, okay, how can I do this that makes sense, even though it kind of deteriorates from when she got the step, and it's probably gonna, and he probably thought like, maybe I can use the fight with Futaba here to unlock Hirofumi's blooming. Like, I feel like that this is the moment where Hirofumi is actually going to unlock her blooming, whatever that will be. As we have Futaba ending out the chapter of, I like that look in the eye, but whether your path is one worth supporting, I'll determine that for myself. And that's where the chapter ends. So yeah, like I said, this is probably the fight that's gonna end with Hirofumi unlocking her blooming, because we had one new blooming today in the form of explosion from Ni, and now we're potentially getting one from Hirofumi. So yeah, like I said, I really like this chapter. We got some great character moments for both Ni and Hirofumi, of them kind of understanding each other. We've got the we've got the setup for the match between Hirofumi and Futaba, and we also got like a theory that I had in the back of my mind for a while. I think I said it in one video earlier on when the family was introduced. Like, will these characters have bloomings? Like, yeah, pretty sure I said it, because it would give each of the Yozakuras an excuse to use their true spring bloomings on these characters if they have bloomings themselves. So, and like I said, I'm pretty sure my theory about Asa getting all the bloomings right is just so that he can steal them from themselves. I feel like that's gonna be 100% confirmed at some point. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.